Hey up troops, A Littleton here again with another video, and it's that time. It's the start of Year 9 Season 4. It's tier list time. Now we've got all the operators below, attackers and defenders, and we're gonna, let me just swap that to F tier, nearly messed that up. And we're gonna go through, all attackers and defenders in alphabetical order, starting with Ace, ending with Zafir. I'll try and give a bit of a reason why I think they're that level at the moment, but I don't want to dwell too much because I can really waffle, and I'll spend all day talking about each one. So, Ace is S tier. You have to think about what he does. He's incredible. Okay, the gun's so good. Yeah, probably the best hard breacher overall, even though Thermite's my boy. Alibi goes into B, possibly C, do we think? No, she goes into B for me. The clone is actually pretty good at putting under windows, so people can't, especially windows that you can't repel against, or if you put the clone like really close to the bottom of the window, and you can't shoot it if you repel upside down then either. It just basically means someone's got to either use utility or jump in and get seen. So yeah, I actually do, and she's got a bailiff and a decent gun as well. What is it, MX 4000 Storm or something it's called. Excuse me, just had to have a drink there. So yeah, Alibi goes in B. Amaru, I'm going to put Amaru in F. I don't think Amaru offers that much at all, really. There's two things that Amaru can do quite well, right? Take areas of map control really quickly. Like if you're attacking bottom floor and consulate, and you want to get admin control really quickly, you can just zip through the window, obviously. But is that a really good ability? Not for me. Going up hatches is a best thing when it comes to certain strats, but I don't rate Amaru. And look, I'm not saying this isn't a fun tier list. This is a who's the best operator tier list and how good are the gadgets tier list. And for me, Amaru is at the bottom of that list. It's probably, if this was a fun tier list, Amaru is probably up there, but it's not. So, we don't have fun when we're playing Siege. We're there to win. Have fun. Right, Aruni. I actually think a little bit underrated. The only thing I would say is I think the cooldown timer on a Gates is quite long, although I guess it has to be because it's a really strong gadget. Can be used on hatches, which is helpful as well. I think I'm putting Aruni in B, but I'm half tempted to put Aruni in A, man. With a DMR on defense and an ACOG. What do you think? I'll put Aruni in A. She can just block off 3 doors, but then again, it does only take a flashbang to counter that, and but then he can turn it back. No, I'm gonna put Aruni in A. I like her. Ash at the minute goes in A. We all know what you're getting with Ash. People don't use her enough for vertical, by the way. 3 breaching charges, 2 Ash charges, 5 holes in the floor. As Army, it's still S tier for me, even though the changes have come. Yes, the MRs counter her really well, but still S tier. Bandit's B tier, decent operator, C4, MP7, which is always nice. You know what's good with Bandit is he's one of those operators that's good to cause problems for attackers. For defenders, I've said this before on a few other videos, for defenders, you need to cause as many problems for attackers as you can. The more problems you cause, the more hurdles they have to jump, the more likely you are to win the round. Not bringing wall denial is one less hurdle for attackers to jump, and they don't have to worry about it. You might end up spawn picking the Thatcher or getting an early pick on the hard breach or something like that, and well, the hard breach wouldn't matter if the bandit existed, you know what I mean? But yeah, just make as many problems as you can, and Bandit is one of those operators that's good at causing problems. Right then, the new kid on the block, or well, the revitalized kid on the block. For me, at the moment, Blackbeard goes in A. He's tempted for S at the minute, but I still think he goes in A. I think if you're confident enough around shields, you're going to be able to beat him. There's my last video that I just did about countering Blackbeard. There's a ton of defender ops that can counter him. Ella's probably the best, then maybe Clash. So I just give a spoiler alert. Now you don't need to watch that video. No, please go and do watch it. So very strong, very aggressive, solid shield aggressive players are doing really well with Blackbeard, but some players who play him seem to think they're invulnerable like anyone with a shield does. You're not Monty, you're Blackbeard. So Blitz. This is an interesting one. Since the shield changes, where do we put Blitz? I think Blitz is just slightly worse than Blackbeard for me. I don't tend to worry about Blitzes that much. Obviously, if you're one-on-one in a room with a Blitz, you're in trouble, right? But if you can think about how you're playing it, you can generally sort of move a bit further back, and Blitzes tend to be quite impatient. They run at you, so you can shoot the feet quite a lot. So yeah, Blitz in B. Brava, probably in B as well, I think. I don't think anyone's going to end up here. Maybe, no. Yeah, Bravo, solid. Really, I actually think underrated. Really good gun. Great secondary with the shotgun as well. Just a really good op. I just really think it's a good design. It's a fun design as well. That'd be up there on the fun meter. Buck. Okay. So since we've lost the Gon 6 and a flash grenade or flashbang, but we still have hard breach charges, Buck goes down to A tier for me. If he had the Gon 6, it'd still be an S tier, but since he's lost the Gon 6, he drops down to A. Still probably top 5 solo queue attackers. Capitao, I rate Capitao. This is looking really top heavy. By the way, this will start to look more top heavy because there's been like 5 or 6 or 7 operators in the last 2 seasons that have been buffed. So a lot of the operators which were further down the scale will definitely be higher up now. So yeah, Capitao, good. Probably the number 1 solo queue operator in my opinion. Gon 6, hard breach charges, smokes, fire, area denial, side denial. Oh, that's line of side denial, sorry. Yeah, easily an A for me. You know what? I'm tempted. What do you reckon? I've got a bit of like cold again. By the way, I know I feel like whenever I make a video, I'm ill all the time. It's living with a 3-year-old and a 1-year-old who both go to nursery. When they come home, they bring all sorts of stuff home. I had like 10 years of rarely being ill. And then since I've had kids, it's like every other week I've got a chesty cough or something. Anyway, I should have thought about this before I did the video, but I always like to just do the tier list off the top of my head so it's nothing scripted. And I think... No, he's not S. He's not S tier. These are S tier. That's not quite S tier. If there was another tier between A and S, I'd put him in there. Castle. Really good. Castle goes there. Now, this is purely if you can play Castle. If you can't play Castle, it doesn't go in A. It probably goes down here. But if you can play Castle and you know some setups which are beneficial, Castle's really strong. Caveira, first one in C, potentially even F, but I just don't rate Cav at all. I just think if there's a Cav on the board, you're basically playing 5v4 and you just got to watch your flank. That's it. Cav doesn't really do much outside of that. Is Cav better than Amaru? Marginally, I think. Clash sits in B. Since now she can counter shields and how strong shields were, she's gone up a little bit. I actually think people don't play Clash correct. I've said this on loads of other videos in the past. People walk towards the enemy with Clash. Your only weakness with Clash is when you're close to the enemy because they can punch your shield and shoot your ankles. So Clash sits in B, and now being able to counter Blackbeard and the other shields is a really, really strong point of hers. Deimos. I disagree with the community on this a bit. I don't think Deimos is as good as everybody else thinks he is. I know he gets played in pro play every round, but for your average rank star, I think Deimos is a B. I'm going to get moaned at for that. But what tends to happen with Deimos is he gets absolutely tunnel visioned on the operator that he's highlighted. And I still think, I probably, if you argued with me, I reckon I could change my mind to get him up to A, maybe. But I'm not. I'm putting him in B for now. Doc, rubbish. C. I just don't rate healing ops that much, although we'll get onto that in a minute. Well, a bit further down. I just don't rate healing ops that much, and in a one-shot headshot game. How often does a Doc heal you? When you're playing Doc, how often do you heal? When you're playing Doc, you heal yourself more, but he has got a Bayleaf, I suppose. No, C. Dockery. Since the changes, still really good. Still S. Still S tier for me. Despite the changes. Echo sits in B. Echo for me is in between A and B. Really solid operator, especially if you're playing in a team. Solo queue, he's okay. Remember, he's gone down to 1 speed again recently and got an ACOG back, which is good. This is an interesting one. Ella. Because Ella now gets impacts, remember, from the change last season or season before. Now gets impacts. And with the way that the Ella mines interact with the shields, watch the last video for an explanation on that. Ella used to sit here for me and now is probably here. It's moved up the scale somewhat. Fenrir, I still think is very good, even though the nerfs came in. I think I'm still going to put Fenrir in S. I still think Fenrir is a nightmare to play. If you can find some decent Fenrir spots, it's horrible to play against. Finker, I'm sorry. If I watch like a lot of the NA players and the NA creators, they all say Finker's like incredible. I just don't rate it. It's just a good gun. with the LMG. Like, the gun's good. But the heal, like, is it that good? Or does it give you 30 HP, 40 HP, 30, I think? Yes, when you've got, like, some strats where you've got a flash or ying or something, it's good because you can use the Thinker Boost to negate the flash, but nah, not for me, sorry. Flores is good. I think Flores... So, the thing with Flores is he's really good, but if there's a mute on the board, it's GG. Like, it's... One counter really does him in. But I really rate Flores at getting rid of utility in certain places. I think it sits in B. I'm tempted for A, but I'm going to go B. This is actually looking pretty good, right? It's like exactly what I thought it would look like, where there's more at the top and less at the bottom, but more in the middle. I think this is going okay. Frost. I think Frost is a pretty B tier up at the minute. Obviously, you can get yourself out of Frost mats now, which is not ideal, but okay. The gun's really solid on defense. With a shield, secondary shotgun, yeah, sits in B. Fuse. Now, this is an interesting one, because I have a higher opinion of Fuse than most people. I actually think Fuse is B. I think I've put Fuse in A in the past. I rate Fuse, I really do. I think when you learn the pattern of where the pucks go, I think he's really good. But is he A tier? Probably not, is he B tier? Glaz. F tier for me. Maybe C. No, I'm going to go F. Sorry for keeping drinking, by the way. I just want to make sure I don't just end up sounding horrendous. Just super situational. As soon as you hear that distinctive sound from that DMR, you don't peek the smoke. So, not for me. Goyo. Good one, but again, pretty situational. I think Goyo also goes here in B. 80 seconds of area denial is a long time. You know, he gets 4 of those canisters and there's 20 seconds each in each one. Really, you get down to like 25, 30 seconds left in a round, you can start popping canisters. It's really good. Problem is they're a little bit fragile, a little bit weak. It's not often you'll get the canisters lasting that long. Excuse me. Gridders. I'm just going to put everyone in B. I think Gridders is okay since the changes as well. There's a bit more damage to be done with it. Although they are easily just punched, aren't they? No, I'll put Gridders down in C, although I kind of want to put her in B. Grim goes in A. Excuse me, I'm all over the place, man. This is not very professional at all. Grim goes in A. Really solid. Hard breach charges, secondary shotgun. He's really solid attacker. In fact, might be up there with the solo queue attackers in terms of Capital and Buck, you know. He might be number 2 or 3 on that list. Sorry, I've got the football one on the other monitor. Let me turn it off so I don't keep looking at it. Every time I'm in between operators, I keep glancing across to see if the scorers. Hibana is... I just heard my phone go. Don't need to worry about that. Ignore that. Right, Hibana is... A or B? Let's go A. Still good enough. But if you said to me you want her in B, I wouldn't argue. I'd put her in B. Ayana is really mid at the minute. You know, decent guns for an entry, but the ability's good. That got nerfed recently. I don't know if you remember the cooldown timer on the Gemini got decreased when it was destroyed by an enemy. I don't know if you know this. If you come off your own replicator, the cooldown timer is a lot less than if you have an enemy destroy the replicator. So if you get the chance, always come off it yourself. Don't just keep going until you see an enemy and let them shoot it for free. IQ. Excuse me. IQ goes in B. Solid, but you can't do anything yourself. You know what I mean? You can ping as many things as you want, but you need a team around you to try and get rid of that utility. But in a team scenario, really solid. Jackal. This is always a tough one for me because it's like A or B. Like, where do we put Jackal, lads? This is an interesting one. I don't really play against Jackal all that often. I'm going to put Jackal in B. Really annoying when you get tracked, but how often do you get tracked recently? I don't feel like it happens all that often. A solid op and really good guns as well, but I think B. I think even when he does track you, like, is it a bit... I don't think we can have Deimos and Jackal in the same tier. Like, Deimos is better than Jackal, right? So do we put Deimos up on... No, I don't think we do. No, I think I keep it like that. Jaeger, probably also B as well, man. Solid gun. ADSs are nice to have. But yeah, probably just sits in B as well. Cade, I think Cade is slightly better than Bandit. Although it pains me to say that because I love Bandit. I play Bandit probably more than most defenders. So it pains me to do that. But I think Cade is probably better overall. As well, too, can get hatches as well and be a bit more sneaky with the wall denial. Although you can't Bandit trick, but Bandit tricking is a bit tougher these days. Callie is just down in C for me. Gadget is actually incredible. And if she had a DMR, she'd be really good. But being able to break mirrors is nice. You can destroy shields. You can get wall denial. Callie's gadget is actually elite. But it's if she had a DMR, I reckon you might put her here, you know. But just being hampered by a one-shot sniper is, you know, I don't play for phase. You know, I'm not phase up, baby. I'm not proficient with a one-shot sniper in a game like Siege. Capcan. So I die to Capcan all the time. And is that because Capcan's good, or is that because I'm lazy and didn't drone the door? Do you know what I mean? I think Capcan goes in B. Annoying to play against. I tend to try and ban him where I can, but I don't know. I don't think it's a case of Capcan's good. I think it's a case of everyone who dies to Capcan isn't very good. And that includes me. I want to say isn't very good. I mean at that moment. Like at that moment, if you'd have checked the door, if you'd have just droned the door, you don't die to Capcan. So that doesn't mean he preys on people's sort of like negligence. Legion is S tier for me. Great operator, gun's incredible. Secondary shotty, obviously. And the gadget is so oppressive. I think he's probably top 3 or 5 defenders at the moment. Lion, interesting one. Probably B. Or is he a bit worse? No, actually, he's a bit worse than B. Because, like, a Lion scan goes off and you're like, oh no, I can't move for 4 seconds. Oh no. How often has that ruined a round? How often has a Lion scan won a round? I don't know if it has, you know, when I think about it. The gun's really good, you know, 50 rounds and a massive AR, like that's decent, but no, he sits there. Right, so Maestro falls into the same category as what we talked about Flores, right? If there's a Brava, Maestro is cooked. If there's a Mute, Flores is cooked. But if there's no Brava, Maestro is actually tremendous at the minute. Really, really good. I got a 4K last night when I was streaming, twitch.tv/A Littleton, go and follow. I got a 4K on stream last night with Maestro, clutched up a 1v3 as well. Put a silencer on the Alder, it'll change your life. I'm doing it, I'm sorry I'm putting... he's not A, is he? He's not A tier, is he? Is he as good as... I don't know, I rate him, man. But I'm leaving him in A. Maverick. I think you've probably got to put Maverick in higher than we think. Because there's no counter. Any wall will get opened with Maverick if you do it right and if you don't let the opponent shoot you through the floor. Or shoot you through the holes that you've made in the wall. So yeah, I think Maverick stays in A. Malusi I really rate at the minute, and I actually am going to put Malusi in S tier defender at the minute. 4 Banshees, bulletproof cam, secondary shotgun, or impacts if you want them. Good MP5, solid gun. I think I'm putting Malusi in S, man. I rate her. I think she's S at the minute. Mirror goes in B for me. The thing about Mirror as well, people are like, oh yeah, Ash and Callie can just destroy the Mirror now. They can, but I can only think of like 3 Mirror locations where you couldn't get rid of that Mirror from above or below. You know what I mean? Like if you actually organised an attack, there's so many Mirror spots where you can just go above or below and shoot the Mirror out. Right, Monty, this is an interesting one, given the changes. Still think Monty's really strong, although he has... You know what? Now you can guard break Monty as well as you can. I think Monty comes down into B for me. I think Monty drops. Yeah, I'm happy with that. I'm not... If I'm 1v1 or there's a Monty walking towards me now, I can do something about it. I couldn't do something about it for the last season or 2. Mozzie, 4 pests and impacts now. Mozzie is A. But it does rely on attackers going through your pests. No, I'm going to leave that there. But is Mozzie A if Bravo's in B? When they kind of nick each other's gadgets? Oh, I'm not sure what I've done there. Can I put Bravo there but leave Mozzie there when it's basically the same kind of job, but Bravo can do more? That's a good point, actually. Well, I'm going to leave it out. Mute, not even questioned. Up to S tier. Best defender by a long shot for me. Against teams that drone. If you're in lower elo, he's not as useful because people don't drone. Knock. Still pretty F for me, I'm sorry. The changes are cool. How the HEL sensor doesn't degrade or decay if you're not sprinting or shooting or whatever. But still, I would probably take every other attacker on here except Cali before I take Knock, I think. Nomad, it's an interesting one. Bear in mind, we've put Gridlock in C, did we? Oh, no, I thought we put Gridlock in B. Okay. That's okay. Nomad. So my issue with Nomad is it's so easy to shoot the air jabs. I think Nomad goes in B. I'm going to leave that there. Oryx F. By the way, on the air jabs, you can shoot air jabs on the other side of a door by just leaning around a little bit. The air jab needs to see all of your body before it'll go off. Whereas you can sort of put half your body out, lean and shoot up. I did it a couple of times when I was streaming last night on Nighthaven Labs. Twitch.tv/A Lilton. We just put Oryx in as well. Rubbish. Sorry. You know what? In the Blackbeard counter video, I was talking about Oryx and I said that one of the things that would be amazing for Oryx is if you could bend your run. As if you could curve the dash. Because at the minute, you just run in a straight line and shield players can just go and just literally move to the side. Osa, good op. Really oppressive if you... I think Osa probably... no, Osa goes in B. She is good. If you play her right. Then again, every op's good if you're playing right, aren't they? I'm going to put Osa in B. Pulse sits down in C for me. He's not terrible, but only sort of good on floors where there's something above you usually. You don't usually play Pulse above looking below. He's okay. Ram, good op. Good solid op. You can open so much vert so quickly. R4C, shotgun, good op. Just a really solid op. Rook, I'm sorry. Absolutely pap. The worst defender at the moment. Recently taken that crown from Thunderbird, who we'll talk about when we get here. Sense. They've had some good changes this season. Being able to turn that ROU sensor on and off at will, so you could throw 3 of them down. Don't put any of them up, and then when you're ready for the execute, they all go up at once. I think you're going to see a lot more sense in pro play. I'll tell you that now. But I think sense probably fits in at B for the time being. Strike. Oh, which one's Striker and Sentry here? Hang on a minute. I'm going to Google it. Sentry, Siege, PNG. I think the attacker's the one without the helmet. Sentry has the helmet. Yeah, that's right. So this is Sentry and this is Striker. So Sentry, you get C4 and impacts. I suppose you could take a shield and a bulletproof, but then you don't have any other gadgets. I think Sentry sits in C, but I'll do Striker at the same time because they're both the same operator, aren't they, really? I think Striker's slightly better. Being able to take EMPs on hard breaches or a combination of nades as well is slightly better than the combination for Sentry. Scopos. I'm going to be a bit controversial here. And I think Scopos probably fits down in C. By far the coolest operator design we've had in ages. Shout out Trichotomy. But I think they're a little bit bulky when it comes to finding somewhere to hide the second shell. But if it's if we're making a tier list on playmaking ability, which one of these operators could win you around? Scopos would be right up here because potentially they've got the opportunity, the ability to win around. Sledge sits down here, not as good as Buck. Frags, obviously, but a 1-speed. Just a bit limited these days, I think, Sledge. I think Sledge needs a bit of love. Give him his SMG 11 back for me. Smoke. I think I still put Smoke in S tier. I still think Smoke's in... Well, he's A tier. He's not quite S. I just looked at the other S tier ops. He's not quite as good as them. If he had his shield, he'd probably still be up there, but it's still one of my favourite operators. Probably my 3rd or 4th most played operator ever. Mute's 1st. Bandit's 2nd. And then maybe Smoke 3rd. But yeah, I'm getting more husky as we go here. Excuse me, what's the football score? Still 1-1. 1 Stoke. Solis. Still has some usage, you know, Solus. Wasn't nerfed to the ground like people think she was. Still okay. Tachanka, again, I don't think he's completely useless, but I don't think he's not B tier, is he? But you can learn some lineups with Tachanka and do some decent area denial. Thatcher, with the introduction of pocket EMPs now, how good's Thatcher? Thatcher's still A. Thatcher's still A. People don't play Thatcher a lot for anything other than wall denial, but he's actually really good at when it comes to doing a push. You know, you chuck an EMP at the side door and he disables anything on the other side of that side door, FNATs, Malusis, etc. He is good when it comes to organising a push. I wonder if maybe an extra EMP would be good for him these days, or maybe that'd be a bit too much. Thermite sits in next to his mate Thatcher. So not quite as good as Ace, not as versatile as Ace, but I do think he's maybe slightly better than Abana. Abana's better when it just comes to getting hatches, obviously, but Thorn, I think Thorn sits down in C. Cool operator again, fun operator, but it's okay at the minute, I guess. If you die to a Thorn trap, I think that's on you, really. Right, the big one. This is the big one. I put Thunderbird for almost every tier list I've done recently. Thunderbird's been down here. Thunderbird's had some changes and a secondary shotgun. For me, Thunderbird now goes up into B. You can put 3 Kona stations down that heal 20 HP at once and then 2 HP every second until the full health or until they take damage again. That's really solid. And I don't really, as I literally said when we got down to Doc, I don't rate healing operators. I do rate that new Thunderbird change, especially with that secondary shotgun. Tubarao is a misunderstood person. Everyone thinks Tubarao is there to help Cade and Bandit with the wall denial. They do so much more. They counter so many attacker gadgets. And the DMR is good, MPX is good, C4, really solid operator. It was really versatile and deserves more recognition for what they can do, not just wall denial. Twitch. I think still say if that F2 wasn't, you could put a vert grip on it, Twitch would probably be up here. But so good at getting rid of utility early. Like Goyo's worst nightmare is just so good at just nipping through a door, sniping an FNAT, sniping an Alamine or whatever it might be. Useful. Valk, still an S for me. 4 cams, fucking tremendous. One of the best ops, without doubt. Vigil, take the Bosch G off Vigil and he's down here. But because the Bosch G is so good, I can't. No, you know what? Balls to him. Ignoring the Bosch G, I'm not just going to base someone on a weapon. His ability's okay. He might even be down here, but the Bosch G sneaks him up into there. Wamai's a really solid operator for me. The MP5's good, the AUG's good. Being able to throw him, obviously, at range without having to put him on a floor or wall like Jaeger is good. We've got Warden. Warden's just super situational, right? If the attackers don't smoke or flash, bit of a wasted pick. Still solid when that does happen, though. Ying, still really good. Still one of the best attackers in terms of being aggressive. Can blind a whole room in seconds. Zero flies into S tier for me with 6 cameras now. Hard breach charges. Gone 6. Zero is insane. I was playing Zero last night when I was streaming on Oregon. Twitch.tv/A-Littleton. Get amongst it. You can also get the charm. Absolutely insane. I was just firing cams everywhere. We were pushing. We were like, oh, there's a person here. There's a person. We can see everywhere in the map. He's so good. I can't believe he doesn't get used as much in pro play, honestly. And then Zafir. If Zafir was a 2-speed, she probably goes in A. I'm still going to put her in A. Actually underrated. Being able to do impacts and concussion mines is really, really solid. I rate Zof. There we have it. I've just realised the time. We've been going for 29 minutes about now, which is insane, really. But there's a couple that I think could change either way. Deimos could probably go up or down a little bit. Gridlock probably deserves B. Jackal maybe could go in A. I also think Maverick maybe could go in S, and I think Maestro might bob down. And maybe Mozzie drop down as well. But other than that, I think that's okay. Let's save and download that. Thank you. And I'll post that on Twitter so everyone can moan at me as well. But there you go. Tier list for Year 9 Season 4. Thanks as always for getting involved with the channel. If you've got any comments, if you like or dislike or agree or disagree, let me know. And we'll talk about it in the comments below. Sorry for sounding husky. Thank you for always appreciating the channel. And I appreciate you. We'll see you next time. Cheers.